All right, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is order of business, December 28th, 2021, electronically held regular meeting of the Dearborn Heights City Council virtual meeting. Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Yes. Council members, please state where you're currently located, the city, county, and state in which you're currently located. Dave Abdallah.
Here, Dearborn Heights, Wayne County, Michigan.
Zuhair Abdahak.
Dearborn Heights, Wayne County, Michigan.
Mo Beydoun.
Here, Dearborn Heights, Wayne County, Michigan.
Robert Constant. Okay, he's currently absent. Denise Malinowski Maxwell is absent. Ray Muscat is absent. And Tom Wenzel.
Here in the great city of Dearborn Heights, Wayne County, Michigan.
Mr. Chair Pro Tem, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this particular point, I'd like to ask Councilman Tom Wenzel to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Thank you, Pro Tem. First of all, I'd like to say it's been an honor serving with Denise Malinowski Maxwell for the last 4 years, and also serving with Zuhair Abdul-Haq. So it was an honor from both of you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of
Of
the
the
United
United
States
States
of
of
America,
America,
and to the republic
for
which
which
it
it stands, one
one
nation,
nation, under God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you very much, Councilman.
You're welcome.
At this particular point, I'd like to ask Madam Clerk to move us into a closed session. For those in the audience,
I'm sorry, Council Chair Pro Tem, we have to approve the agenda first.
Okay, I apologize. You're right, absolutely right. Okay, at this particular point, we have agenda approval for order of business, December 28th, 2021.
The council chair,
Go ahead, Councilman Mo Beydoun.
I move that the Dearborn
Support.
Heights City Council approve the agenda of the electronically held regular meeting of December 28th, 2021 as submitted.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Mo Beydoun, supported by Councilman Tom Wenzel. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do we have any other ayes? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, those opposed? The ayes have it. At this particular point, Madam Clerk, if you don't mind, we're going to go into a closed session, but before we do, I'm just going to explain it a little bit to the audience. We have a closed session at this particular point with Chief of Staff, Corporation Counsel, and other individuals with the City Council. We'll go into a private meeting on Zoom, and then we'll come right back in as soon as we're done. Hopefully, it shouldn't be too long.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, go ahead.
We'll need a motion and a second to move into that closed session, and then we'll have to do a roll call vote.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
okay, Councilman Mo Beydoun.
I move to put us in a closed session with Corporation Counsel Miyake, Mayor Bilbezi, and Chief of Staff Hernandez, and any other party that has to be a part of it.
Oh, and Robert just came here. Okay. Okay, if you could do a roll call vote then, Mr. Chair?
Does, Madam Clerk, does that need a support?
Oh, yes, it does.
Oh, support.
We do need support.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Mo Beydoun, supported by Councilman Zuhair Abdul-Haq. Any discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, I'm gonna go ahead and take, Madam Clerk, if you don't mind taking roll call.
Okay, Dave Abdallah? This will be a
Yes.
yes or no? Yes.
Yes,
Zuhair Abdul-Haq?
Yes.
Mo Beydoun?
Yes.
Robert Constant? I'm gonna come, he
Yeah.
did, yes, he's here, okay. Denise is absent, Ruska, and Tom Wenzel.
Yes.
Okay,
Madam Clerk. we have a
Mr.
quorum.
Chair Pro Tem, you have the
Please
motion
take us,
carried,
yes, please take us into a closed session.
okay?
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Councilman Mo Beydoun, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Council.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman, hold on one quick second. Before you go ahead and say,
Can you hear me?
say we're gonna get out of closed session, you have to
Yes.
announce.
Can you hear me, Dave?
I can hear you, yes, but we can't see you, Councilman.
I know.
Okay, Councilman Moby Dun, you're frozen.
Council Chair
Okay,
Pro
go
Tem,
ahead, Councilor Gary Mayatke, go ahead.
you also have to have a motion to return to
That's
to
what I
leave
said.
the closed session,
Correct,
and then have the motion on the other
Yes.
matter.
okay. Councilman Moby Dun, you're
Where'd
frozen.
he go? Where did he go?
He's right there, his face.
Oh,
his-
he
his
is
video
frozen.
All right, Councilman Bob Constant, while we wait for Moby Dun to come back on, do you want to go ahead and make the motion to come out of closed session and the motion with the decision?
Where did
You
Mr.
gotta
go?
unmute, you gotta unmute.
I don't see. Oh, there he is.
I make the motion to go out of closed session and to vote on the to proceed with the attorney's recommendation or not.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, did you want us to take a vote on that? Okay, so let's go ahead and take a roll call, please.
Did we have a second on that one?
Yes,
Okay,
Councilman Zahav Abdul-Haq.
Councilman Abdul-Haq, okay.
Okay, Councilor Gary Miatke, are you all set? Okay, go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Okay, just you can take a vote now.
Okay, so all in favor, please say aye.
I,
Aye. Any opposed?
No,
Okay, so let's go ahead and take roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry, Council Chair.
There was, I got all yeses and one no.
That's correct.
You're fine with that? Okay. Go ahead, we're all set on that. All right, next item on the agenda is approval of minutes.
Madam or Mr. Chair,
Did they want to-
Councilman
Tem.
Robert.
I move that the minutes
One
from the,
quick second, Councilman, 1 second. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Did you have a motion that you wanted to bring forward from the closed session?
We, Councilman
Yeah.
Robert Constant motioned that we come out of closed session, come back into an open session, and then
Yes.
we voted on the recommendation of the
Okay.
attorney.
Okay, I wanted to make sure you had that covered.
No problem.
I'm gonna vote yes. I'm gonna, just to get it done, vote to the amount we discussed.
So you got the two together. Okay,
Okay, to go with the recommendation of the,
there you go.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Nolan.
Okay.
It would be best to have
Two separate.
two separate motions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think what we're going to do, Council Chair Pro Tem, is take the motion to return to open session, and then vote on that, and then vote on the recommended
sure, no problem.
outcome
Go
of
ahead.
the closed session.
No problem. Go ahead, Councilman Robert Constant.
I move that we go out of closed session.
Okay, all in favor, please state aye.
I
Aye.
second,
I'll sec-
I seconded.
Okay, I'm sorry. Motion made by Councilman Robert Constant, seconded by Councilman Zohair Abdul-Haq. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Councilman, you're gonna make the second motion?
I move that we authorize our attorney to discuss
the
and
recommendation.
proceed.
Councilman.
No.
Councilman, per the recommendation, we're gonna go based on the recommendation of our Councilor Shane Nolan.
Proceed with the recommendation made by our attorney Shane Nolan.
Great.
Second,
All in favor, please state aye. Seconded by, motion made by Councilman Robert Constant, seconded by Councilman Zohair Abdul-Haq. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from December 28th, 2021.
Council Chair Pro Tem, I move
Councilman
that
Robert Constant.
the minutes from the electronically held regular meeting of December 14th, 2021 as submitted be approved.
second,
Okay, motion made by Councilman Robert Constant, supported by Councilman Zohair Abdul-Haq. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item on the agenda, we have public hearings and comment on agenda items from the public. Please, a reminder for those in the public, there'll be a limit of 2 minutes on any agenda, and you can only speak on anything on the agenda.
Council Chair,
Go ahead, Councilman Zaher Abdul-Haq.
we did not approve, did we approve the agenda for the 28th?
Yeah, we just did.
Yes, we did.
No, we approved.
No,
this-
we approved the minutes.
approved the minutes of
agenda.
December 14th.
We,
We-
there was a
we-
motion and a second and approval of the agenda that was prior to the closed session.
Okay. Then I need to add things to the agenda. Okay,
It was already approved.
Yeah, Councilman was already approved, so
Okay.
unless I know otherwise, I'm told otherwise by our Madam Clerk or by our Councilor Gary Miyake, as far as I know, it's not allowed once it's approved. Is that correct? I'm
Yes,
asking you guys. Is
Oh,
that
boy.
correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes,
yes.
Okay, so
that's
I
correct.
apologize, Councilman Zaher Abdul-Haq, but unfortunately, we will not be able to do that today. I
that's
apologize.
okay. I'll bring him at the end of the meeting.
Thank you very much. Okay, so at this particular point, we're gonna go ahead and go with public hearings and comments on agenda items only. I do know that Don Killian, the chairperson for the Local Officers Compensation Board, also asked to be able to speak. I'm gonna go ahead and give him an allocation to be able to speak on, and on his behalf. So any comments from the audience on agenda items only? And I will keep it to 2 minutes, please.
Gary has a,
Okay, Councilor Gary Miyake, go ahead.
Thank you. Gary Mayatki, Plainfield Street, Dearborn Heights. I'm speaking on item 9C. I believe that the Local Officers Compensation Commission wanted me to lay out some of their reasoning with respect to this particular item. So there are essentially 4 reasons why they made the determination that they did and why they recommended it. The first was they wanted to make sure that all the city's elected officials are appropriately compensated relative to comparable officials in comparable communities. They thought that this was very important as a matter of fairness, and they thought that this was very important in terms of ensuring that we have qualified, quality elected officials. And was a very important item to them. You have to realize that all these commissioners are residents of the city as well, and they're essentially volunteers, and they want to make sure that the community is well led. And that was part of what they were looking at. They wanted to also make sure that the elected officials, not only who exist or who are currently serving, but others in the future, are going to be drawn to public service. And that's why it's important to compensate them fairly. Otherwise, they may, people will leave. Remember, we've had a few retirements earlier than expected with respect to stuff, and compensation makes it easier for people to stay on. And if they can't stay on, to end up attracting quality candidates to end up being appointed instead of those who have to leave. One of the other things that they said is that a lot of is happening in the city. There's been a lot of development, a lot of growth in the city. We need to have good quality people who can actually spearhead those types of efforts. And you're only going to get them if you end up compensating them. And the final thing that they noted is that overall their determination might cost the city $20,000, which they felt, given the importance of what's involved, was not a huge amount of money, particularly because, unlike, for example, employees, elected officials don't have any sort of tenure. They don't have any sort of collective bargaining agreement. They don't necessarily have any security. So they felt that this was very important, and they felt that this compensation package, as they determined, was very fair, very reasonable, and would be best for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. in the future, if for all those elected officials or even people in administration, I'd really appreciate it, just so that we're clear when somebody comments in this particular section, if they could mention if they're commenting as an individual or as a resident, or in their they're commenting, based on their particular position, whether they're administration, counselor, et cetera, please. Thank you. Madam Clerk, is there anybody else from the audience that would like to go ahead and speak?
Yeah, Mr. Killian's on. I think Mr. Killian's on. He can.
Okay.
Okay,
Go
I'm
ahead.
on. I'm
Go ahead,
on.
Mr. Killian.
Good evening. My name is Donald Killian, Shadowlawn Street, and I have been a resident of our city for over 40 years. I am currently serving as the chairperson of our city's local official compensation committee. This committee is established by law of the state of Michigan, and with the purpose of removing from partisan politics the determination of compensation for our elected officials. Instead, the compensation is determined by a committee of tax-paying and voting residents of our city. Most members have been residents for decades, and we meet every 2 years to determine such compensation. As taxpayers, we are as much concerned about the wise use of our tax dollar as anybody is in this city. Again, I repeat, we are equally or more concerned for the future of our city and wise expenditures as anyone else here. We spend hours studying and discussing the data in open meetings before making these recommended increases or decreases. Back in 2012, when our city was suffering financially, we voted for a decrease of the compensation by 10% to match the sacrifices being made by other employees in our city. That decrease remained in effect for 6 years, unmatched in the 10 cities we use for comparison. Keep in mind that our recommendation is based on the position and duties and not the person in office. 2 years ago, we made our very fair and reasonable recommendation for modest increases. However, because of the political conflicts in our city at that time, council voted to reject our recommendations. Today, our current reviews prove that we was right on the mark on compensation 2 years ago. Sadly, we must again recommend that we recommend those same increases, plus we recommend the fair and reasonable increases for the future 2 years. The appearance of a large increase today is because of the failure of council to accept our prior recommendation. I encourage council to allow our recommendations to go into effect. Otherwise, I fear our city will never be able to attract the talent needed to run our great city, and consequently, that our city will decline in value. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Madam Clerk, anybody else in the audience that would like to speak?
I do not see any other hands up. Last chance.
Okay.
No, I think you can go forward.
Okay, nobody else is on. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Killian. Next item on the agenda is fund transfers and current claims.
Council Chair,
Councilman Moby Dun.
I see I got cut off there, so I'm sorry. I don't know if it went through.
It
my
froze.
computer froze.
Yeah, your screen froze.
Yep. Okay. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the current claims 6-1 through 6-21 as submitted.
Second,
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Moby Dun, supported by Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq. Is there any discussion on those items? Hearing none. Motion is approved.
You'll vote on it.
You got to
Okay.
vote.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a vote on this. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Sorry, trying to get used to that. All right, next item on the agenda, we have consideration of bids. We have DPW Director Conrad, bid award for the HVAC maintenance agreement.
Council Chair,
Councilman Moby Dun.
Thank you. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid for the new HVAC maintenance agreement to Allied Building Services as they are the lowest qualified bidder, and authorize the controller's office to return all bid bonds to the unsuccessful bidders. In addition, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. Furthermore, authorize the mayor and the comptroller to sign the warrant upon receipt, and authorize the treasurer to issue payment as outlined in 7A.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Mo Baidoon, supported by Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq. Any discussion on that? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and take it to a vote. All in
Council-
favor?
Council Chair,
Yes, Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq.
I just want to thank Director Conrad. This is a very, very good contract for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. And thank you, Mr. Conrad. Councilor Gary Miyake, go ahead.
Yes, I think that there are some final edits that are needed to this document, and I believe that the motion was supposed to also reflect that. Namely, there should be with any final edits to the agreement as approved by Corporation Council.
With any edits approved with, agreed upon with the Corporation Council.
Support.
Okay, so just to be clear, Councilman Mo Baidoon, that's your revision on motion number 7A, is that correct?
You're the most beautiful guy ever. Yes.
And then we'll need a second by Zuhair again.
And second.
Second.
Okay, so
Sorry,
Motion-
Councilman Abdul Haq.
motion made by Mo Baidoon, seconded by Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq. Is there any discussion on that? Any further discussion on that?
Council Pro Tem.
Councilman Wetzel?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick statement. I want to thank Director Conrad for giving us all the information we requested at the last meeting. I think most of my questions were answered, if not all of them. And thank you so much for doing that for us. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Any other discussions? Okay, we'll go ahead and take this to a vote. All in favor, please state aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. The next item on the agenda is reports from mayor. We have planning commission appointment on item 8A.
Council Chair Pro Tem,
Councilman Robert Constant, go ahead.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council concur with the mayoral appointment of Mr. Safai El Sanad to the Planning Commission, term to expire 2023. Mr. El Sanad's appointment is to replace Mr. Alex Kanani as outlined in item 8A.
Support.
Thank you, Councilman. Motion made by Councilman Robert Constant, supported by Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair,
Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq, go ahead.
I know Mr. Saif As-Sanad for a long time. A terrific guy, very smart, very devoted to this community, and I want to thank Mayor Bazzi for his continuous good picks for the commissions. And I support this appointment without any reservations.
Thank you, Councilman. I also would like to state that I know Mr. El-Sanad, good person, good character, bright young man, and definitely dedicated more than a lot of people I know to the city. And I'm sure he'll make good decisions on the planning commission and highly recommend him.
Council Chair,
Councilman Mo Baidoon, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I mean, I have, you know, if everybody's gonna give kudos, Safe's a good friend of mine. Congratulations to Safe. Great recommendation by our Mayor Bill Bazzi. I truly, truly love Safe. He's a good man. He's been very good to my family, to my colleagues, to my friends. He always goes above and beyond. A great heart. Congratulations to Mr. Safe. Thank you.
Well, we don't have congratulations yet because we got to vote on this still, Councilman.
Okay.
Pro Tem.
Councilman Tom Wenzel, go ahead.
Yeah, can the mayor or someone give us a little background on this gentleman? I know in the past it was brought up that appointments maybe be brought to city council before we vote on him, a particular person. Can someone give us a brief background on this gentleman?
So I can, if you guys want, or if the mayor wants to, it's up to him.
Councilman, just out of fairness, because it's an appointee of the mayor, let's have him go
Yep.
first. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I can start and you can finish, Councilman Baidoon.
All right.
So So obviously, what you guys have mentioned, he's very involved with the community. He's done a lot, I've seen him firsthand, with his involvement with the community, with the city, and the passion of doing the right thing. And it's not just involved with residents, but also with businesses. And his heart is in the right place. And so he worked for the police department. He did forensic science. He was an auxiliary police officer. He also worked, various positions in the police department. And now currently he's the CFO for the mayor's office in Inkster. So he's got a lot of duties, he does a lot of, planning operations, for the mayor of Inkster. And also he's doing management of the department heads. And he oversees a lot of projects going on in that city. Obviously, he's a resident of Dearborn Heights, but works in Inkster. But he's involved in both communities. But that's why I pointed him to the city of Dearborn Heights, because of the value that he brings to our city in Dearborn Heights.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Moby Dun, anything you want to add to that?
I know Councilman Tom Munsell was just asking a little bit about him. I know, the mayor nailed it right spot on. Just to add on a couple of things, I hosted a lot of food drives, a lot of toy drives, works hand in hand, I believe, with a bunch of different nonprofits, including his own nonprofit. Safe is definitely a decorated leader. Congratulations. Soon, after we vote on it.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments from the councilman and woman? Okay, let's go ahead and take this to a vote. Since there's no other discussion, all in favor, please state aye.
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 Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item on the agenda, we've got reports from city officials. Next item is item 9A. This is from City Engineer Ali Deeb. Change order for Hennessy Engineers, MDOT bridge inspection and load ratings.
Council Chair.
Councilman Moby Dun.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve a change order for Hennessy Engineer Professional Service Contract to complete the MDOT required bridge inspection and rating in the amount of $38,968. In addition, authorize Corporation Council to prepare the necessary addendum to the contract and for the mayor and city clerk to sign the addendum on behalf of the city. Furthermore, authorize the mayor and comptroller to sign the warrant and the treasurer to issue the payment as outlined in 9A.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Moby Dun, supported by Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq. Any discussion on item 9A?
Council Chair.
Councilman Moby Dun, go ahead.
Just if for the residents, I know I spoke with our amazing young man, Ali Deeb, who gave us a lot of information on this. And I just want him to kind of just break through and tell them why we're doing this. This is actually a great thing as to what we're doing here. So before I give him the kudos, I'll allow him to explain what's happening here.
Go ahead, City Engineer Al Deeb, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Pro Tem. So what you have before you is an update. So the city owns and operates 14 bridges. So as a requirement, it's a federal and state requirements that bridge owners must inspect. They're required to maintain, update, and inspect their bridges. And when I say maintain and update and inspect, we wanted to be able to tell the residents what our bridge conditions are and what their load carrying capability are. So we did the inspection under the existing contract. Now we've always been compliant with that rules. What we have before us now, our bridges are old, and as they age, the load carrying capability is impacted. So things like the structural elements, it must be looked at and analyzed to see what are the safe loads that the bridges can carry. So things like scour analysis, which is the impact of water, and most of our bridges, as you know, are on the south end. And I drove almost all of them and looked at them for myself. And then the guidelines are really clear. A licensed engineer must do the analysis, and the report must be evaluated by another licensed engineer. So on the receiving end, the city will receive those the data, and we must analyze and determine what needs to be done and incorporate that. So what we're trying to do is be ahead of the game, because in the backup material I gave you, it clearly states that the importance of the load rating is such that the federal and the MDOT will not authorize any money, grant money, until you actually do that. So it is a mandated requirement that you know, plus it's a liability issue for the state. I like to know, for the city, I like to know what our bridges conditions are. So we wanted to stay ahead of the game, and we wanted to make sure that we can safely operate and tell the public what they can and cannot do. It is a requirement.
Thank you, Mr. Deeb. Appreciate
Council
it.
Chair,
Councilman Zohair Abdulhak, go ahead.
Yes,
Mr. Deeb,
sir.
Director Deeb, does this qualify for any grant from the state or federal?
The actual, Councilman, you're talking about the actual.
Yeah, if we find
inspection
out,
part?
if we find out that these need to be upgraded,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
are we going to be qualified for grants?
You won't be qualified unless you have your bridges registered and inspected. So you have to do this stuff in order to make the bridge in good standing, and then you qualify for.
So this is
federal
a
as well as state.
This is a prerequisite for anything.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, sir. Yep.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other items of discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman Robert Constant, go ahead.
City Engineer, Mr. Deeb,
Yes, sir.
will there be an examination of the two bridges in the south end that where the creek just goes through culvers, metal culvers, and often the debris backs up?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. So the inspection part will have a huge detail. So the last inspection that was done in 2019, just to give you an idea, the report itself was 540 pages. And it is extremely detailed. Yes, it is to that level of detail. So the guidelines are very strict. It's the superstructure, the foundation, the members underneath, the pavement, the everything. It's detailed, and basically what the city, when we receive that, this will be our guideline. It will be examined, and we will put a list of things to do based on that on that report.
And this is something, Mayor and City Attorney, that probably something that the $25 million the city is receiving for infrastructure can be used for, correct? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Director or Engineer Ali Deeb. Any other items of discussion? Just one quick comment from my end in regards to Mr. Ali Deeb. I'd like to thank the mayor. When he originally assigned Ali Deeb to this position, I, for one, admittedly kind of questioned it. Wasn't sure if this was a position that was needed in the city, honestly. But I just want to commend the mayor and, most importantly, Mr. Ali Deeb. He's been a great addition for the city, but most importantly, he's saved the city a lot of money on, with due respect, on weight trim expenses that we used to have on a regular basis. So I was looking at even this week's packet and looked at the number from weight trim. I was like, wow, I haven't seen those low numbers in a while. So thank you, Mr. Deeb, for continuing to save the city a lot of money. Appreciate
I'm
it.
glad you owned up to that, Council.
Hey, I always do. When I make a mistake, I'm the
I'm
first to
glad.
say it.
Hey, I liked him from the beginning. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure, honestly, I wasn't sure if it was a position that was needed, because at that particular point we never had it. And I thought, where's this coming out of? But the mayor and Mr. Deeb had better vision than I, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next
Hey,
item.
Chair.
on the agenda,
Excuse me,
here we
I
go.
raised my hand.
Okay, I didn't see it. Go ahead, Mr. Jamal.
In a layman language, I reviewed the situation we missed on grant in the past. So in the future, this is being recommended strongly by me to do this so we have a base to apply for grants. This particular bid is confirmed to the city charter. I encourage you to vote yes on it. It's being reviewed by the Corporation Council and cleared in our staff meeting. So I encourage you to propel with this, please, and move on so we can apply and maybe get some grant. Regarding the ARP, the answer is no, co-chair. We can't use ARP for this. ARP is COVID-related and sewer and water project. This particular project is not qualified for the infrastructure grant, just to correct the record. But we will apply from Eagle, to update those, myself, the mayor, and Mr. P.E. Deeb, and Director Conrad. We already have a plan to apply and come in March route of application. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jamal. Any other items of discussion on this particular item? Seeing none, let's go ahead and take it to a vote. All in favor, please state aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. That's Mr. Wenzel. Okay. Next item on the agenda, we have an item 9B from Corporation Council Miyake, National Opioid Settlement Participation Agreements. Any council member want to make that motion?
Council Chair,
Councilman Mobeidun, go ahead.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the Janus participation agreement on the settling distributor participation agreement for the city related to the national opioid settlement. Further, Chief of Staff Hernandez is authorized to electronically execute the participation agreement on behalf of the city with the assistance of any necessary changes being made to these participation agreements by Corporation Council Miyake prior to their submission as outlined in 9B.
Support.
All right, motion made by Councilman Mobeidun, supported by Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq. Any discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and put this to vote. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, by the way, Councilman Bakiri Miyake, for working on this. Appreciate it. I had a nice conversation with him, and this is a win-win-win for our city, so thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 9C. This is from our Corporation Council again, Gary Miyake. Communication from the Dearborn Heights Local Officers Compensation Commission.
Council
Chair.
Chair,
Councilman
Council
Zohair
Chair.
Abdul Haq, go ahead.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council return to the table Council Motion 21-581 and concur with the notice of determination that increases the salaries of the city's elected officials as recommended by the Dearborn Heights Local Officers Compensation Commission as outlined in 9-C.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq, supported by Councilman Robert Constant. Is there any discussion on this item?
Council Chair,
Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq, go ahead.
I never personally was against increasing the salaries of the elected officials because I think their salaries are very low, and I agree with the commission that we need to attract the best of the best to our city. And I just wanted to make my position that I would like that to be fair to our other employees, because I don't want to see any employee in the general government not being able to provide for their families and not to be able to live comfortably, and they have to go and work other jobs. And I am very confident that Mayor Bill Bazzi is aware of all this, and I am very sure that he's going to be fair to all these employees. And I encourage my colleagues, to let this pass.
Thank you very much, Councilman. Was there another councilman that had a comment?
Council Chair.
Councilman Moby Dun, go ahead.
Hey, thank you so much. And I just want the residents at home to know that I've had I went in and seen the mayor today with his open door policy. If it was open or closed, I usually knock on the door and just walk in either way. And I had the conversation with him and I said, you know, for me to look at this, the mayor is being paid, you know, 83 or 89,000, somewhere around there. I mean, it's comical. It really is. You know, this is the executive to the city of Dearborn Heights. So I'm all for with the mayor getting and you know, the treasurer and the clerk to all get raises, and to the city council members. But I am also going to be very vocal, and I've had this conversation with him. He said he is also going to be very vocal, standing up for our union employees, like DPW employees and the ones that are working out of the building department and all the rest of the union employees. But I've also been having conversation with some of the union employees and letting them know that I am going to be at the forefront in defending and being very, very focal for our union brothers and sisters. So I am going to be in full support of this, but I'm also going to tell the mayor that just to let the residents know and everybody else that are paying attention, that the mayor and myself, and I believe most of my colleagues, if not all, are in support of supporting negotiations for our union employees. So
Thank you, Councilman.
you're very welcome.
I want to say a couple comments on this. This has been a difficult one for a lot of us to be able to vote on this, obviously. And as a lot of the residents are aware and those in administration are aware, my personal proposal at the time was I'd like to have this thing put on hold until we're done with negotiations with DPW, clerical, and other union members throughout the city. Unfortunately, based on the way the charter is written, it's written in a way where we have to either reject this as a resolution this year within 30 days of when it was brought forward by the Compensation Commission, or then otherwise we can't bring this thing back like I would have wanted a month or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever it is later. And hopefully my intent was to kind of force the city's hand to have quicker negotiations with a lot of the members. Unfortunately, that's not an option for us. With that being the case, I did a little study on this thing, and I spoke with a lot of different members of the unions, supervisors, et cetera, on this, and different people in administration and a couple of different HR directors throughout the community, just to get a little idea on this. But just to give a little heads up, the recommendation by this particular commission, if you add them all up between the mayor, the treasurer, the city clerk, and the council persons, it is a total of $36,158 total raise for the year. On the other hand, what's being negotiated with all the other members is obviously going to be, between everything involved, quite a bit more than that. With that being the case, I personally am in favor of giving these elected, not necessarily, and this is, by the way, this is not based on a particular person. This is based on getting more qualified people to always apply for these positions in the future. So this is not necessarily a reflection of a particular person or particular name in office right now or not in office right now. This is based on the particular position, whether it's clerks, mayor, et cetera, in order to be able to get better qualified people, you got to pay them better. I'm always in favor of paying people better, including our union members. And I did have a conversation with many people, including many people in the audience, including the mayor. And the mayor has assured me that he will continue to negotiate fairly and equitably for all others involved. So unfortunately, we have to, the only thing we could vote on as council members is what's in front of us on the table right now. Later on, we'll get to vote on whatever is finally negotiated between the union members and the mayor. And at that particular point, we'll obviously make our decision at that point to have everybody fairly compensated. Just want to make sure and state that, and just make sure and state that the total amount recommended in raises for all the officials is $36,158. Thank you. Any other council members with comments? Tom wants to go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I don't repeat what another council member has said for the sake of getting the meeting moving along, or to hear myself talk. But I too had conversations with the mayor, and I am voting for this, but he assured me that these contract negotiations would be settled fairly. And being a lifetime union member, it means a lot to me. And I've talked with the mayor and I've made special arrangements with him, and we are going to make sure that this takes place sooner than later. And I want to assure that all of my union brothers and sisters that, you know, like I said, I've been a union member my whole life. My family's been union members. We'll get this done for you guys in a really fair way, and it'll make everyone happy. And we're going to move on from there. But these guys need their contracts. It's unfair that they haven't had contracts for years, some of them many, many years. But we'll make sure it gets put through as soon as possible. Like I said, sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Tom Wenzel. I do want to add one more thing. Different elected officials and a lot of people in the unions have not had raises in quite a while. I mean, I'm talking about right around 10 years. So it is time, not only for those elected officials, but also for all the union members. And again, we've all been assured, and I know most of the council members are on board for making sure that all of our employees throughout the city are paid fairly based on similar cities throughout the county or the tri-county area. Thank you. Anybody else have any comments?
Let's make a vote here.
Okay, I just want to make sure there's no other comments from council members, just in case. Okay, I don't see anybody else. Madam Clerk, do you see anybody? Okay, thank you very much. So let's go ahead and put this to vote. Now, Councilor Gary Miyake, can you, or I'm
Council
sorry.
Chair,
Yes, go ahead,
Chair.
Councilman. Go ahead, Councilman Zarab-Lahat.
I don't think we have to vote on it.
That's
We just
where I was
let it
going.
pass.
That's what I was just gonna ask. So I was just gonna ask the Councilor Gary Miyake exactly that, because that's my recollection. If we don't make a resolution to cancel this, then this automatically goes through. If we make a resolution to cancel this, then obviously it will not go through. So Madam Clerk and Councilor Gary Miyake, is there anything else over and above what I just said?
Yes. You
Go
would
ahead, Councilor
end up
Miyake.
actually having to have a vote to reject of 2/3 of the members elected. Basically, all 5 of you would have to end up voting to reject the determination in order for it to be rejected. And if you don't, for example, if you just receive note and file, although you've voted to concur, or you have a motion to concur at this time, but if you had a motion to receive note and file, then all of the raises, the determination would be put into effect. Thank you.
But just to clarify, Councilor Gary Miyake, no motion needs to be done on this. From the way I understood it, all we'd have to do is receive, note, and file, and that's it.
Right.
Is that
Right.
correct?
Well, you could have a motion to receive note and file would be the
Okay,
appropriate thing
should
to do.
Councilman Zarab-Lahat just remove his motion?
Yeah, I do.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Is that okay, Gary?
I move to receive, note, and file.
Support.
You'd want to
Corporation
amend your
Counsel?
motion. You'd want to amend your motion, Councilman. But hold on, Councilman Zarab-Lahat. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Corporation Counsel, we did bring, it was a tabled item.
Okay.
Right.
So we want to keep that in part of the motion.
That
and
is
then-
correct.
Okay, so we just need to vote on it.
Right. You could just do return to the table.
Gary,
We got that
Yeah.
already.
Receive note and file.
Okay, receive note and file.
Council Chair,
Go ahead, Councilman Zarab-Lahat.
I would like to make the motion not to reject the compensation,
Registrar.
the compensation commission increase of salaries for the elected
All right,
officials.
I hope they can't see.
And Madam Clerk, doesn't he also have to say he wants to bring it back to the table?
Because it was a tabled item. And
Yes,
that's,
Councilman, can you add
it was
that?
a tabled motion.
Can you add that, please, Councilman?
Okay, I will.
Return it to the table.
Yeah.
I
Turn
move
it to the table.
I move to bring back to the table.
Mhm.
Resolution, I'm sorry.
You got. Motion 21-581.
Motion 21-581 and not to reject the compensation commission recommendations to increase the salaries of the elected officials. If
Support.
we vote yes, it's not going to be rejected.
What?
Madam Clerk, Counselor, are we okay with what we just said?
Corporation Counsel, would it be more appropriate just to receive, note, and file?
That's fine.
I
Whatever.
think that's what most people are saying, and that would be frankly
Clear.
cleaner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we've got it. We'll do a receive, note, and file after we bring it back to the table.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Councilman Abdalhak.
Okay, so Councilman Abdalhak, you need to repeat it, please.
Okay. I move to bring back Council Motion 21-581 to the table and to receive, note, and file.
I think, is it two
Or-
separate ones?
No, no.
It's the same one.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Zohair Abdalhak.
And
No
is
vote.
Councilman Constant going to second that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so motion made to table this,
No, take it off the table.
To return from the table.
to return to the table by Councilman Zohair Abdalhak and seconded by Councilman Robert Constant. Thank you. Next item on the agenda.
Or vote on it.
We have to vote.
We still have to vote.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's go ahead and take a vote. All in favor, state aye.
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 Those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Got it.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
Next item on the agenda is from Human Resource Director Hazlet, Affordable Care Act, ACA -6055/6056, reporting assistance. Item 9D, any council members?
Council Chair,
Go ahead, Mo.
whatever it is, you want to, Rob, you can, or I can. It doesn't matter to me.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I
Councilman
move that the
Mobley.
Dearborn Heights City Council approve the agreement to retain Plant Moran Group Benefit Advisory, PMGBA, and sublicense with HCM file to implement the reporting provisions, section 6055-6056, that the city has under the Affordable Care Act, ACA. The agreement allows PMGBA to file and produce the forms 1094-C and 1095-C as required by the Affordable Care Act, ACA. In addition, authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city, subject to review by Corporation Counsel Miyake. Furthermore, authorize the mayor and the comptroller to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payments in the amount not to exceed $8,600 to be paid from the PROF-CON account 101-200-817.00 as outlined in 9D.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Moby Dun, supported by Councilman Zohair Abdalhak. Any discussion items? Seeing none. All in favor, please state aye.
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 Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next item on the agenda, we have ordinances and resolutions. We have from City Clerk Lincenia, resolution for a Class C liquor license for Walker's Speakeasy at 8701 North Beach Daily Road.
Council Chair,
Councilman Robert Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the resolution for the Class C liquor license at 8701 North Beach Daily for George Michael Kuhn, Walker's Enterprises, Inc., DBA Walker's Speakeasy, subject to review by Corporation Council. In addition, approve and issue Walker's business license after the Liquor Control Commission has approved the liquor license and has been received in the clerk's office as outlined in 11A.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Robert Constant, supported by Councilman Moby Dun. Is there any discussion items on this?
Council Chair,
Councilman Zohair Abdalhak, go ahead.
how many liquor licenses we have in the city? Anybody knows?
Madam Clerk, I believe you know.
Councilman Abdalhak, the last time I looked, we have 30 right now. We have 3 available. Is that right, Corporation Council?
Are those?
I thought it was 2. but you could very well be correct.
I think it's true. The last time I looked on Laura, anyway.
Oh, that's right. And it might be this one because this one was lost. So that might explain why we got the 3. So yeah, this one was lost. It was a pre-existing one and they had to reapply in order to get it back.
Gary, are those 3 in escrow account?
I don't know. I don't believe that they are in escrow. This one, they thought they were going into escrow. There was some miscommunication during the pandemic. It ended up being lost. And this was a long-term business in the city. And so they reapplied.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilman Zahar Abdul-Haq. Any other questions or discussion items from any council members?
We do have Walker's attorney here in the audience if anybody has any questions for him.
Any questions for the attorney, for the business owner? All right.
Good evening, council. Thank you. This is Clint Kesto, the attorney for Walker's. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Clint. Anything you want
Oh,
to
I
say?
just want to say, you know, I appreciate it. There was a little miscommunication with the state as far as the license during the pandemic when things were shut down. So it was expired, if you will, and we have to reapply. So I appreciate working with the clerk, the treasurer, and the council for the city. And I appreciate this honorable body approving this today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Counselor. Any other discussion items? All right, hearing none, we're going to go ahead and put this thing to a vote. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item on the agenda is business license renewal for MHS International located at 20475 West Warren Avenue.
Council Chair.
Councilman Moby Dun, go ahead.
Thank you, Council Chair. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council renew the business license for the MHS International at 20475 West Warren as outlined in 13A.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Moby Dun, supported by Councilman Zahar Abdul-Haq. Is there any discussion on this?
Council Chair.
Councilman Zahar Abdul-Haq, go ahead.
Just if somebody can tell me what they do exactly, the MHS. What kind of business?
Madam Clerk, are you familiar with this one? I believe it's a car wash. Or
We have it as an auto, new, used, new and used vehicles.
Thank you.
That's what it says on their business license.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
What's the address on that?
It's on the backup, 20475.
This one's on Warren Avenue, closer to Evergreen. If you're familiar with the particular area. Close to the, is it Vista Maria there next door? Close to that. The former Burger King area, there was a car wash there, I believe. Any other questions? Any other
Is it a
discussion?
car wash or is it a used car lot?
We're licensing as them as an what was it? New used car lot. That's what they're being licensed for.
Used. New and used. I mean, do they have a
It says,
brand?
well, I don't know exactly. That's the file. It says new, auto new / used. So they probably are the same. You know what I mean? You got one license number for new as well as used. I don't even know if we have
Yeah.
any.
Keep in mind, Councilman, this is just a continuation of a particular business. So it's not a new
Yes.
business. No.
That is true.
I know they already have the license, but I mean,
Right.
if it's another used car lot, I don't want that. That's for
Right.
sure. I mean, is that what it is? A used car lot? I guess I'm bad for not doing my homework on this one. I seen it, but I didn't have time to really look into it.
I thought this is just a renewal of the license. Are we not going to renew it because it's a used car lot? I don't think we're approving a new car lot. So this is an existing new
Correct.
car lot. If I'm
It
not
is an
mistaken.
existing one. You are right.
Yeah. Right,
Okay.
right. And they need a license to be renewed.
Right.
I'm saying if it's a used car lot, I don't want to renew it. I mean, that's the way it is. That's the way I feel. I mean,
Yeah, you're entitled.
yeah.
And that's within your rights, Councilman.
to request that.
So to request that. Is there any other discussion items? I will add one more comment, and I do see, I do know that there's been some concern amongst a lot of council members of not having whether it's used car lots, new car lots throughout the city. I totally appreciate and respect that. At the same time, keep in mind, in certain locations, there may not be that much demand. So in that particular area, I can tell you as a realtor, it's not exactly an area that's in super high demand as far as people opening up businesses. So let's keep that in mind, because the last thing you want is shut down businesses in any particular area or boarded up businesses for that matter. Just keep that in mind, please. Mayor Bill Bazey, please go ahead.
There are more than one.
Madam Clerk, we can hear you.
So I just looked at it. It looks like it's a car wash, not a used car
I
lot.
thought it was a car wash.
But you guys, there's multiple businesses in there. I just pulled the file, okay? There's an M&B Quick Lube that has license until July of 2022. And there's also a Blue Diamond Car Wash that's also licensed at that same one, which is good until July of 2022. And then you have MHS. So there's multiple businesses at that address.
How long have those businesses been there for?
Oh, let me see if I can go back. I'm looking in 2015, it was there
Okay.
as the
reason
car
I'm
wash.
asking-
And
yeah,
it could
the
be
reason I'm asking-
further too. It's just what I have handy. And then the same thing with the Quick Lube that is from 2015 as well. So it's not like it's a new one.
Could this be the business that just is able to sell a car out in front of their business? You know, one that's they worked on or someone gave to them, or you know, could that be what this is?
I mean, it says they're registered as a used car lot.
Councilman, just looking at a Google Maps shot, I thought this was the type of business it is. And I'm looking at a current Google Maps shot right in front of me here. There's an oil change. There is a car wash. I thought there was a car wash there.
Yeah.
This is, for those that are not familiar, somewhat close to Royalty Manor, but at least on the Google Maps, there is a car wash there. There is an oil change. And at least visually here on Google Maps, it looks to be pretty nicely maintained. Thank you. Madam Chair, were you saying something? I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
No, we're good. We got the
Okay.
3 businesses there. So it's not just the used car lot. There's the car wash as well as the Quick Lube.
Correct, the oil change, correct. And this is, I'm looking at it, I was correct. It's right next to the Burger King. So it is the same place I've driven by.
Okay.
Before we go to our Councilor Gary Miyake, I'm gonna go to Mayor Bill Bazey because he had his hands raised. Go ahead. You all set?
Yes.
So Councilor Gary Miyake, go ahead, please.
Just a reminder that when it comes to denying a business license for an existing business, there is a process under our ordinances that needs to be followed. And so it would not be an adequate basis to deny a renewal of a business license based on we have too many of that type of business. So just a reminder. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Counselor. Any other questions or discussion items on this particular subject? Seeing none, let's go ahead and put this in a vote. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'll go ahead and say.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, next item on the agenda is comments from council members. I'm going to go ahead and start it with 2 quick items. The first item, I'd like to thank our council chair, Denise Malinowski, for her service 4 years on the city council and serving also as a council chair. I appreciate all your commitment and I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors. That's the first item. Second item, this guy, I couldn't get on TV. I couldn't open up a newspaper. I couldn't do anything without him popping in front of me, social media, everything. So I loved it. I figured I got to give this guy kudos. You guys all know him by now. He's one of our very own from Dearborn Heights. See his picture here? Kid Santa. I love this guy. I mean, I've seen him at our, I think he's at our tree lighting, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Mayor, in the past. I thought I'd seen him there a while back. And he gives, different gifts to kids and what have you. But I just love the fact that he's in Dearborn Heights and now he's gone statewide. And I'm telling you, every news show around was talking about our very own Dearborn Heights Kid Santa. So just want to give him congrats and Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you. Any other council members?
Chair, Council Chair.
Councilman Tom Wenzel, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to make a comment about legalized gambling. I know it's a state thing, but I personally know of some people that have fallen victim to this cell phone gambling thing, and I think it's a bad thing, bad for everybody. The only thing it's good for is the casinos. It's caused a lot of trouble. A lot of people lost a lot of money. But anyway, on a happier note, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. And, Dearborn Heights is a city with a future. And to have a future, we need a family-friendly community. Those of you who know me know my family is the most important thing in my life. And Dearborn Heights is known as Tree City. I think we should also be known as Family City. Families are the foundation of society. As I stated in past meetings, that in the coming year, I was going to concentrate my efforts on our ordinance department. I will also be focusing on families. I can't stress enough how important families, a structured family, is to our city. I'll start by making a couple of suggestions. I suggest that as families, we pray together as a family. We attend services together as a family. As the city goes, we engage in community services as a family. Families are very important to me. And I'm asking our city departments to get creative and come up with family-friendly ideas. Our Parks and Recreation Department has been doing a good job, most recently with the tree lighting, very family-friendly activity. It was really nice to be there and everyone had a great time.
Yes.
And if any residents have any ideas, some ideas about what we could do as a city to be more family-oriented, please contact me and I'll make sure we get it done. Okay. And as you know, this is the last meeting for Denise Malinowski Maxwell, Council Chair, and Zuhair Abdul Haq. It was a pleasure serving with both of them. I wish them the best of luck and God bless you both. God bless Dearborn Heights.
Thank you, Tom, Councilman Tom Wenzel. And by the way, I missed it. I apologize. Thank you, Councilman Zuhair Abdul Haq. But like the movie says, I know you won't know it. I'll be back. I know you. You'll be back soon. Only us older guys know what that is. All right. Anyways, any other council members have any comments?
Council
Chair.
Let
All
Mo
right.
go ahead.
No, age before beauty, right, Mo?
No,
All right.
I'll
Go
wait.
ahead.
I'll wait.
All right, go ahead. Councilman Moby, go ahead.
All right, okay. Mine's gonna be a little long, so I'm glad you're letting me go first. First and foremost, I want to also congratulate Denise Malinowski Maxwell on her 4 years of service. I also want to extend my my heart and my love to Mr. Zuhair Abdul Haq, who's also been serving for many, many years. So rather he's has a voice at the chambers, or if he has a voice at the podium, Zuhair is always going to be there. I also want to second Councilman Abdullah. You will be back. And I'm not old, and I still know what that is. And then secondly, I also want to give my kudos to Councilman Dave Abdullah. Honest to God, Dave, I've been serving for almost a year now on the city council. You have definitely been the backbone to the city of Dearborn Heights, to this chamber, to this council, to myself, a huge mentor. I see myself constantly leaning on you, and I want you to know sincerely, as I've said this many times from the bottom of my heart, I am so thankful for you. I swear to God. And I think this entire chamber and the administration should appreciate you as much.
Thank you.
Always stepping up to the plate, man. You're an amazing man. Councilman, and to Councilman Bob Conson and Councilman Tom Wenzel and Councilman Muscat as well have also been huge mentors as well. But I definitely could say I've been leaning on you for many years. If it's not on council, it's why we're going to Cedar Point as kids, and you were the chaperone, the old father that was coming around.
Don't make me bring out the old story, but go ahead.
Secondly, also, I'm going to go ahead and give my kudos to the mayor. I know that the mayor has taken over in the time of a pandemic. While we lost our late mayor, Dan Palacco, who would have been 71 years old 2 days ago. So may he rest in peace. And my condolences go out to the Palacco family and himself. But to the mayor, you've stepped up. You've given back the vehicle saying, I don't need this. I think that puts a little bit more money back into us. So I think this little compensation raise is something, in my opinion, is still a little undercutting you. But I also want to give you some kudos. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. You're sitting there. There's never been a time I've come to City Hall where you're not sitting in that seat. I would stand up and make sure you don't get RLS, restless leg syndrome, how much you've been sitting on that seat. But I know you're going above and beyond and putting the residents forward. So I'm going to recognize that as well. And then I also want to just say I was out of town. I missed the last meeting. I swear I felt like a piece of me was missing when I wasn't at the last city council meeting, but I know, Councilman Pro Tem, soon to be council chair, Dave Abdullah, was holding it down with the rest of my colleagues. I also want to say, I know Councilman Muscat reached out to me and told me that he has been a little bit under the weather, potentially could have pneumonia, and said that he would not be here. He asked me to let you guys know that he's sorry he could not be here today. Today, at the age of 85, John Madden has passed away. I thought I would put that out there. This is my condolences.
He did a show on that. Wow.
Yeah, yep. He just passed away. Actually, I received the notification while we were on Zoom, and I said, what? So I was a little startled there. I also going to give some kudos to our chief of staff, Mrs. Hernandez. She's got a stand and sell desk. Believe it or not, she brought her own desk into City Hall that lifts up, which I have at home. I've never spoken to you guys standing up, but I guess Mrs. Hernandez has this table, which is pretty unique, and I want to recognize her on there as well. And then just to also welcome, because I wasn't here, our new Margaret, who's the new HR director. Congratulations and welcome aboard. I will also want to piggyback a little bit about Mr. Wenzel, who was talking about family. We are known to be a city of trees. I won't get started on the trees, but I will talk about being a city of family. I respect you so much for that, Councilman Wenzel. You truly are a family man. I mean, stepping up to the plate and putting your family forward. You are the true prodigy of the city, showing us that. Going back to trees, Mr. Conrad, I looked at item, what is this, 6.5? It looks like we spent about $16,000 fixing up trees. Thank you so much for that. And then
Uh-oh.
You froze.
He froze.
All right. Well, any other council
Time's
members?
up.
Watch out, that's the new way we cut people off.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Any other council members have any comments? So we'll come back to one last item for Moby Doom, but any other council members?
Yeah,
Councilman Zoe Abdulhak, you were
Council
next.
Chair.
Go ahead.
I hope you give me little time because this is my last city council.
Absolutely. Go ahead. You've earned the honor.
I cannot add more than what Mo said about everybody, but the public always see us, the city council members, the mayor, and the employees who come on Zoom or in person. But I want to say there are people in the city who put their time, who put many years of their life, and they put lots of money to make sure that our city is doing better and the right people get to the right positions. To those people, they know who they are. I work with them for many, many years, including some of you on the city council and the mayor. Really appreciate very much every minute they gave me, every advice they gave me, and I appreciate everything they done for our city, and I thank him from the bottom of my heart. Now, going back to city business, I did submit to Council Chair Malinowski two basically resolutions concerning the forensic audit and one to rescind Act 78 of 1935 for the police and fire. Now, we spent so much money on forensic audit. I want to ask everybody, what have we given our resident in return? What did we learn and what the benefit we got as resident and as officials from that $150,000? In my opinion, everything we were given by the Raymond firm, we already knew, and we already went through it for the last 14 years. I personally gave him all the numbers, like spreadsheet for the PEG, for the CSO, for the health. I gave him a packet of almost 20 pages. Sent them when I was treasurer in the city. I sent them from my email to them. I'm going to move because the council chair did not put those on the agenda, and she didn't tell me why. I'm going to move to terminate the contract with Raymond firm and with Mr. Shank, and to direct our legal department, Mr. Mayatki, to contract with Plant Moran to do examination on all the contracts which we agreed up on with the police and fire in the unions, including Act 345, DRAPA program, healthcare, and to make sure that they are in compliance with every term of the contracts which we have with them. I hope somebody will second that, and I hope we take a vote on it.
Thank you, Councilman.
I haven't finished yet.
Oh, go ahead, Councilman.
Okay, so nobody wants to second it. All right.
I just got on here. I was kicked out, so I don't even know what we're being said right now.
Okay, I made the motion to terminate the Raymond firm and Mr. Shank and terminate their services, and to direct our legal department, Mr. Mayatki, to contract with Plant Moran to do basically examination to all the contracts which we agreed on and the procedures we agreed on with Act 345 and DRAPA program and the health care for the police, fire, and the general government. The reason I'm doing this, I want to see if they are in compliance with
Call you as soon as it's.
that, in compliance with those contracts.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Well, this guy is-
So Councilman, I will second it just to be able to open this for discussion.
Thank you.
So I second it. And at this particular point, I'm gonna go ahead and take a little discussion. I don't want to go into a whole meeting on this because this is at the end of our meeting, but I would like to say just a quick comment. As a lot of you guys know, I was always not in favor of hiring Raymond Group or the law firm for the formal audit. And as you've just mentioned, Councilman, 150, and I've heard as high as 200,000 or 300,000 has already been spent. At this particular point, exactly what you said is exactly what I said at the last meeting. Nothing that was mind-boggling that was brought forward that I thought, wow, this was worth $200,000-300,000 worth of spending. With that being the case, as I've said many times in the past, I am okay and in favor of having Plant Moran continue to audit us. As the mayor mentioned himself, he mentioned something the last meeting, and I loved it. And I called him. I said, hey, I give you kudos to that, to have yourself audited on a regular basis to make sure everything is in compliance. I love that type of stuff. So I'm definitely in favor of that. But as far as anything else, in my particular opinion, as far as Act 345 or Act 78, I'm not sure if I'm personally ready to make a quick decision like this at this particular point, being that we did have a meeting previously on that study session. And As you are aware, Councilman, everything was discussed, but there was nothing that was moved forward at that particular point. So on my end, I'd like to put that on hold before we have either another study session or not at this point. Thank you. Go ahead, Council.
Council Chair,
Go ahead.
I did leave copies of Act
I received it. Correct.
78. I left every detail ahead of time for all the council members, so you have time to read them, you have time to
Correct.
answer.
Correct.
And I did set the amount to 25,000, not to exceed the $25,000 for that particular task. And if they need more money, they can come back to the city council. I think it is worth it to see what's going on, especially with Act 345 and the drop program. I haven't got one answer, and I would like to hear from my colleagues on the city council. Do you know if we pay in the 5% interest to the drop program annually or not? Any one of you can give me for certain an answer that we do or we don't.
Council Chair,
Councilman Mobedu, go ahead.
I'm so sorry to Councilman Abdul Haq. I know this question he's asked many times. He really has that question. I wouldn't say 10 times. Councilor Abdul Haq, do you know the answer?
Yes, I do know the answer because
I'd love to hear the answer then.
I spoke to John Riley in the presence of Mariana at the Human Resource Office. And I was told that the taxpayers pay close to $2 million a year to the drop program. I hope I am wrong. But when I see that we don't have money to fix
I
our
would
roads,
then Mr. Councilman Dave Abdullah, can we have somebody, Council Chair, can you ask somebody that knows a lot more about this? I mean, maybe our chief, somebody that knows. And I know we got Steve Lapkovich who has his hand up. He can answer it.
Councilman Baidoon, I just don't want to pass this issue to the new people who are coming. I think, and I felt it is my duty, since this is my last council meeting, at least to make a point that this issue needs to be discussed. This issue, it's the time for it. If you don't want to vote on it tonight, that's fine with me, but I want to make my point because we promised the public that we're going to do audit and we're going to tell them the result. And it is the city council responsibility. It's not the mayor. It's not anybody else. The city council hired Raymond, the city council responsible for the result. And if we don't give the resident a result, that means we didn't do our job. And the reason I want to terminate Raymond, because they failed to give results to the city council and to communicate properly with us for almost 1 year. So I don't think they should be on contract with the city.
Hey, I agree with you, man. I was in that meeting. I didn't think he did, never mind.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Zohair Abdul Haq. But just for clarification, Councilman, in the email that was sent to different council members, and I know it's not, it's somewhat public information, at that particular point, the recommendations or the motions that you were wanting was to eliminate Act 78 in one of your letters.
That's the second one.
Correct.
Second one.
And that's why
I will withdraw that because I know it's a hot topic and I don't want to make more enemies than already I have.
Well, so not so much. So my opinion, it's not so much that it's a hot topic or anything along the lines of that. Because I'm gonna tell you something. For myself personally, my votes are always not about what heat I get or what boos I get or what claps I get. I don't want to say I don't care about that, but that's not my main decision making. But such a big decision cannot be made at the end of a council meeting, unfortunately, with a quick motion and suddenly, okay, we're canceling Act 78. Not to mention, I don't even know if we can cancel Act 78 and without any type of input from our counselor, Gary Miyake and other involved parties, for us to just say, let's eliminate it. I just don't, me personally, I'm definitely not prepared to make that type of decision right now.
Council Chair, I'm not asking anybody to make a decision, but I have made a promise to some people, resident who ask me this. what I like to see is to have the mayor has little power to select the chief of police, like Dearborn, like any other city. I don't want to feel that I have entity which is isolated. It acts by itself. It's not, under any scrutiny from anybody except the commission of 3 people. Okay,
Sure.
that's the reason I sent those ahead
Sure.
of time to everyone, so you
Sure.
can read them. I am
And-
going,
and
I am believer in, since we have strong mayor, weak council, the charter, I like to see that this mayor has the power, has the option to bring the team he wants to work with. That's the only reason, not because I don't like the police department and I don't like what they're doing.
Sure.
But I will withdraw this one, and I like you to take a vote on my motion for the hiring Plant Moran.
Okay, so
You can
Two things.
table it, you can.
Sure, no problem.
It's not on the
Two
agenda.
things. For those council members that are not familiar with Act 78, Act 78 is one that dictates where the hiring happens as far as different chiefs are concerned, whether there's somebody that goes from
Civil
within,
service.
correct, whether it's somebody that goes from within the department or hired from outside the department. And in my particular opinion, Councilman, not to give which way, I feel, I just don't think this is something we are ready to do right now. I think, maybe it's open for discussion. I think it could be done in maybe a study session. Obviously, a council member would have to bring that forward. But at this particular point, I think to make such a huge city change right here, right now, is not the right time.
Council
I
Chair,
believe Council Chair,
I agree with you 100%, but like I said, I made a promise to some residents that I will bring it up, and I am bringing it up to fulfill my promise to those
And I appreciate
residents.
And I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you,
Council Chair.
Councilman. Councilman Moby Dun, go ahead.
I'm so sorry I got cut off in the middle of my things and my last things.
I'm gonna give you your last comment. I haven't forgot about you, but it froze.
Yep. My last thing was just to welcome and congratulate our new select Hassan Ahmed, who worked tirelessly, and to Nancy Bry, who worked tirelessly. I mean, these 2 individuals went above and beyond, canvas, did their work. I'm proud of them. I look forward to working with them. And then just to add on, since I wasn't going to, but as far as Public Act 78, it was put in position to stop nepotism, and so that nepotism wasn't allowed to happen, from what I've read. And that if we as a council want to change it, we would have to vote on putting it on the ballot. The residents would have to vote on it. If it was approved, then it would go through a charter revision. So it is actually a process before eliminating Public Act 78. And again, I really do commend Councilman Zohair Abdulhak, who always puts his heart out and puts his best foot forward. And, you should never be discouraged to bring something up to city council as a councilman or as a resident on something that you feel is very, very important. Now, as far as the Raymond Group information, I was not on council when they were hired on. I don't know much about it, but I know at the last meeting when they spoke, I didn't think there was much information really brought forward for the large amount of money that was put forward. And I don't think that was fiscally responsible on us to be able to pay all that to see what came back. I don't think anything came back. So I would love to support that. But again, I would like to table that, move forward, and maybe bring it up at the next city council meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Zohair Abdulhak, I just wanted to make sure I didn't cut you off. You're all set?
Yeah, I just, brought those. You can vote on it, table it, or, decide on study session. But I just wanted, since this is again my last city council meeting, I want to fulfill my promises to some residents. And I want to make sure that the new members in the new council will take this seriously, because we owe it to our residents to tell them really how we spend that money. And it is, again, the responsibility of the city council, strictly the city council and nobody else.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Councilman.
So
And I would personally,
if I will modify my motion to table it.
Support.
Council Chair Pro Tem, we
Council,
need to,
I'm sorry, City Clerk, go ahead.
can Councilman Abdalhak repeat his motion? There was a lot in that and we don't really know what we're voting. I don't know what you're voting.
I am sure going to.
Okay,
I move to terminate the Raymond firm contract with the city of Dearborn Heights and terminate the contract with Mr. Shank. I don't know what's his title with us. To terminate his contract with the city of Dearborn Heights. And to direct Mr. Mayatki to contract Plant Moran to do an examination of all the contract related between the city and the police and fire concerning Act 345, drop a program in the healthcare to see if they are in compliance with all the terms and conditions of those contracts. And this not to exceed the $25,000 for this effort.
Madam Clerk, does that suffice?
did you get it? Yeah, I think that's much better. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman, for the
Thank
motion.
you.
Any second, any support?
Second.
Second, anybody second? Councilman Tom Wenzel, you raise your hand?
Yes, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Yeah, unmute, please.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Councilman Zuhair Abdulhaq, supported by Councilman Tom Wenzel. Any further discussion?
Council Chair.
Yeah, Councilman Mobidun, go ahead.
So it's the entire motion to put forward is to say, we're gonna eliminate them. We're bringing a corporation council. They're gonna work with Plant Moran and they're gonna investigate contracts on the police, fire, Public Act 78, the drop program and Public Act 365, all of that.
Act 78 is out, just the drop program, Act 345 in the healthcare. I'm talking about the money we give every year and the way it is spent and the way it is paid by the residents.
Council Chair, if I may, just for clarification.
I'm sorry, Council, go ahead.
Is this the motion to table this motion? I was under the impression that
Yeah.
the motion had
Yes.
already been made by Councilman Abdulhaq, seconded by yourself, and now this is the motion to table the motion that was made. He was just repeating it for the clerk's office to write down what was being said. So I think it's important to have clarity about what you're voting on now. It's a
That's
motion.
correct. That's correct, Gary.
That's
Okay,
what I
thank you.
understood also.
So we're
So we're-
tabling.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilor Miyake.
So Councilman
There's a lot
Abdulhaq,
in there.
just to further clarify, I just want to make sure we're all 100% sure what we are voting on. So I just want to make sure and clarify this. Your motion is to table the two points that you had made in your email at this particular point only. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Council
Madam
Chair.
Clerk, does that suffice? Madam Clerk? Okay. Councilor Gary Miyake, does that suffice? Okay. So all in favor to table this until further notice, please state aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Council Chair.
Councilman Bob Constant, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't on the agenda, it wasn't noticed, it was never, I understand Councilman Zuhair Abdulhaq's mission, but this is, this was part and is part of our charter. And, it's there for a reason. We had presentations on it. You can't just bring these issues up at the last minute. It's not really properly before the council.
That's why they take.
Thank you, Councilman Bob Constant. Any other items of discussion? Okay. Thank you very much. And we have voted on this, correct? Madam Clerk, you're good? Okay,
You
good.
vote on it? Yeah.
We're good? Okay, good. Excellent.
Yes.
Oh, look at
All right,
that, man.
any other announcements from any council members?
Council Chair.
Councilman Bob Constant.
I want to wish everyone
One more, you're gonna get a free cake. Go ahead.
I want to wish everyone happy holidays and a happy new year. It's been a rough year. We look forward to 2022 as being a good year. And we have great residents. We have great people working for the city. And I look forward to putting 2021 behind us. Thank you.
Councilman. Same to you, brother. Any other announcements from the council members? All right, hearing none at this particular point. I didn't see any, correct? No. Okay, at this particular point, I'm gonna go ahead and take announcements from anybody in administration. This is not for the public. This is for any of the elected officials or anybody in administration that has any announcements. Please do, or maybe even outside administration. If you could do me all a favor, I'm gonna go ahead and respect your time. I'm gonna give you time to speak, but respect the time. But once you go past 2-3 minutes, I may have to possibly cut you off. So keep that in mind. Let's keep it kind of short, please. Go ahead. Anybody have any announcements? Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
Thank you, Council Chair. So a few quick things. We had a water main break today on Beach Daily and I'm sorry, on Inkster and Warren. And I just want to let everybody know. I know last we heard they're still working on it. A lot of kudos to our DPW. They jumped right in, and with the inclement weather, they're trying to fix it. So thank you, our DPW, everybody from DPW that participated in fixing it or trying to fix it. Also, I do wish also everyone happy holidays and happy New Year. And be safe. The other thing is I wanted to for next year, I discussed with several council members, like I said before, my door is always open, as I've done in the past. I want to extend an invitation to the council, the new council, again, like I done in the past. If you guys have any items, just trying to help our clerk's office. I know, Dana, thank you for putting the package together, putting the stuff in the mailboxes. So if you don't want to use the packet, please let Dana know, because she's spending a lot of hours putting the package together. So if you do want it, ask her for it. But if you're not using it, let her know to save money and time. Just respect her time, please. And since she does email the packet in advance on Thursday, and also for the new council, I know I discussed it with several council members. If you guys want, we can hold another meeting, prior to the council meeting, so you guys can go through the agenda, without, asking, you can ask questions, but obviously not vote on it, and it'd be an open meeting as well. So if you want to do that in advance, so on a Tuesday meeting, we can go through this a lot faster than what, just out of respect for everyone, the elected officials, also residents. So, my door's open. If you guys want to do that, let me know. We can make this happen. And I look forward to working with everybody on the new year. I'm very grateful to everybody's help, and congratulations again to all the newly elected officials, and look forward to a great year next year, and have a safe holiday and New Year.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Continue to do a good job. You're doing a good job. I tell you, as a businessman in the area, I'm seeing the changes and I like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other announcements from the audience that are not? Oh, look at that. Okay, we have to take a 10-second interruption to see Moby Dune's little guy. Look at that guy.
This is the newest addition to the Baydoun family, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
look at that cutie. Look at that cutie.
Yep, 4 months today. Big Ali Baydoun.
God bless him. God bless him.
All right, there he is.
He's beautiful, just like his mama.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You're a bright woman, Madam Clerk. All right. Any other announcements from anybody in the audience? We're not talking about public members, public comments.
Do you want me to call on them?
Yes, please, Madam Clerk. Please, Madam.
Okay, we have Library Director Michael McCaffrey. I'm going to ask him to unmute.
Hello, Council Chair and Mayor. First off, thanks to everyone who contributed to Toys for Tots. The library got enough donations to fill 5 large bins. We also raised some more money for the Good Fellows, so thanks to our generous residents for contributing and making a lot of kids happy. I also wanted to give kudos to AJ White Green, Jim Moyer, and her staff for another great gingerbread house kit program. We passed out or delivered over 750 items to our residents and lots of happy Dearborn Heights families. Finally, I wanted to announce that one of our recently retired staff, Stephen Valent, has been placed in the Book of Honor for outstanding service at the Dearborn Heights City Libraries. His dedication and love for the library and residents has been exemplary, and today he is recognized for all he's done for Dearborn Heights. He is cared for and appreciated. That's all for now. Thanks for your time and see you at the library.
Thank you, Director McCaffrey. You got to get on television. I'm telling you, man, the way you announce stuff is just rock and roll. Good stuff. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be on TV, and if I'm reading cards, I'm pretty good. Yeah.
There we go. Here we go. Madam Clerk, who's the next?
Council Chair Pro Tem, Chief of Staff Hernandez is next.
Our very own Chief of Staff. Go for it.
Thank you, Council Chair. I just wanted to thank Mr. Gavin, as well as all of our DPW clerical office and staff for solving the issue with the water main today. We had our phones blowing up all day, so I also want to ask the residents to please be patient when this type of breaks happen. We are doing the best that we can. I also wanted to wish everybody happy holidays and also remind everyone that, you know, at least as far as the community I'm engaged with, there has been a lot of people that are getting sick during the holidays that have been unable to meet with their families. So going back to the topic of families, please be thankful and caring of those around you and your loved ones. And I do send my condolences for all of those that have lost people in this holiday season. But I do hope that you enjoy the new year and see you next year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Chief of Staff Mariana Hernandez. And thank you for your hard work. Madam Clerk, who's next up?
Next, we have Corporation Counsel Miyake.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just briefly. Act 78 could only be rescinded by a vote of the people. And moreover, there would be collective bargaining implications, not charter implications, but collective bargaining implications in terms of the contracts with the police unions and the fire union that would need to be addressed if action was taken that way, because they might consider it to be an unfair labor practice if it was implemented unilaterally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counselor. Anybody else, Madam Clerk?
Yes. We have Director Conrad.
All right, go ahead, Director.
Hey, I just wanted to update the residents of the city that the water has been restored. It was a 12-inch water main that failed on Inkster Road at the Cambridge Apartments. So there was some discoloration in the water as a result of us shutting down the different valves to control this large main break. And it was a very significant one that was causing flooding on Inkster Road and into the apartment complex. So the DPW did react rather quickly. Unfortunately, when we have a large break like this and we're trying to control flooding, normally we try to, let everybody know that they're going to be without water, but it was due to the size of the break, we didn't get to notify everybody like we would normally do. But water should be restored at this point for everybody. There may be a little discoloration in the water still, but as we use our water and flush things out, everything will be fine. We never lost any significant water pressure, so we don't need to do a boil water alert for anybody. So everybody's water is safe to drink once the discoloration passes. And as we use our water, that will pass and is basically just a result of opening and closing the valves to allow us to repair this main. So thank you for everybody and your patience with this this break, but it was good that we were here in the morning and it happened at the beginning of everybody's shift. So we were able to act quickly.
Thank you very much, Director Conrad. I do want to commend your guys and gals for the job that they do. I mean, I've seen some of these guys and gals driving around different major streets, and you see them there in the middle of winter, you know, knee deep with snow, trying to correct any potential problems that our residents have. So God bless them, because that's a tough job. God bless them.
Yeah, it didn't help that it started snowing right after we had the water main fixed.
Right. I've seen that. So thank you to all of them. Madam Clerk, who do we have next?
That would be me.
All right, go for it.
Okay, I would just like to wish everybody a happy and healthy new year. We've had a challenging couple of years here since the pandemic. Hopefully it'll get better. I'd like to welcome the new council members, Nancy Breyer and Hassan Ahmad. Look forward to working with you. Anything you need, just seek out anybody in our staff here in the clerk's office and be more than happy to help you. And then to our outgoing council chair, Denise Malinowski Maxwell, as well as Zuhair Abduhak. Thank you for your service to the city. We still think we're going to see you around, so don't be strangers, okay? Thank you.
Lynn, you're the best.
Thank you.
And then we have next on board, we have, let's go with Nancy Breyer. We're in public comments now. If there's nobody else from the city, I'm going to call in Nancy first because she is council-elect, okay?
Okay, so one more person from the city, Mariana, is pointing out something.
Oh,
Mariana?
who is that? Chief, oh, I'm sorry, Chief. He's
Chief Myers.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me, Council.
Yes, we can.
I just wanted to point out, and Chief Brogan's not able to be here, but within the last week, our police and the fire department working together have done some pretty miraculous things. Within the last 7 days, I've watched the police and fire work together to bring back to life an accident victim and a victim of a violent crime. The police and fire responded with such great professionalism. I was actually there at the violent crime one. I watched the police and fire that were present work with great professionalism, great heroism, and bring an individual back to life and give them a chance to survive a violent crime and a very violent accident earlier in the week. The men and women of our public safety here do an excellent job. And we don't talk about it too often. They thought it was just another day of doing what they're expected to do here for our residents. But those firemen, those police officers that were on that scene were heroic. They went into the face of danger in the one, and they saved a young man's life, or at least gave him a chance to survive. And I think me as a police chief and Chief Brogan as a fire chief, respect every minute of what they do and appreciate every minute. I hope every citizen here does. And I wish everybody a happy new year. And I look forward to a healthy one for each of us. And thank you for letting me serve this community. And if you see one of those police and firemen, know that they do it every day, but there's things that you'll never hear about. And it's pretty heroic and courageous what they do. And they save lives, both the police and fire. So thank you. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Chief. I'd like to add something on that since you're on that subject. During Christmas Day, while my family was just sitting at home, and then I was asking, so where are we going to eat? And that's when the boss lady said, well, you're going to pick up some food. So I said, okay, boss lady, on my way. So driving out of my neighborhood, I see a police car right in the church directly behind me. And I thought, I'm going to stop by and just say Merry Christmas to the young gentleman. And I believe it was Officer Hamoud, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that was his name. And I just stopped by to say, Merry Christmas. And I found out he was just there to check on the priest on a church behind us, behind our house, just say Merry Christmas to him and check on him and make sure he's doing okay. So kudos to him. Then on my way to pick up food, I stopped by the fire department and seen all these guys there during Christmas. So while a lot of us were enjoying our families during Christmas Day, unfortunately, they are not able to. So I just want to take this particular time to thank our firemen and women and our police officers for all they do, especially during the holidays. God bless you guys. Happy holidays. and Merry Christmas if I didn't see you guys. Thank you. Madam Clerk, who do we have next?
Okay, I think we're on the public comments
Okay,
portion
so
of,
thank you, Madam Clerk. So at this particular point, we're gonna go ahead and go to public comments. Now, in public comments, you get 3 minutes to be able to talk about just about any item that you want. And I'm gonna go ahead and allow everybody in the public to speak. Please respect those 3 minutes. Just before the 3 minutes, you'll see the Madam Clerk put up the sign telling you you have 30 seconds, and then the next one will be you have 15 seconds. So please respect that, and please keep looking, at the city clerk's little box that we have her in. I'm not going to give any type of warnings or what have you at this point. All I ask, ladies and gentlemen, is be respectful of everyone and go ahead and speak your mind. I will go ahead and allow you to speak whatever you want to speak about, but please be respectful and keep in mind that this is a public forum. Thank you. Please go ahead, Madam Clerk.
and please, I'm going to call Nancy Breyer if she could state her name, the street where she resides in the city. And you're on.
On mute, okay.
There you go.
First, I'd like to mention that Steve Lobkovich had his hand up for a long time, and Hassan Saab were also ahead of me. So if they want to go first, it'd be fine.
Madam, I'm sorry, Council-elect Nancy Breyer, I'm going to go ahead and let you continue because you're a lady. Ladies first. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. We'll see how long that lasts. Okay, I just want to thank Robert Conrad and the DPW for the great work they've been doing on tree trimming and removal of bad maples in particular. A couple weeks ago, they did a bang-up job on Academy Street, and I had someone call me. But one thing that Robert mentioned to me is that they should call the DPW directly, not other people, to try and get it done for them, because they have to have certain information, and the people at the DPW will know what questions and information they need prior to doing the service. So that's the main thing I wanted to talk for comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman-elect Nancy. At this particular point, I'm going to go ahead and let Steve Lobkovich in, please. Go ahead, Steve.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Obviously, we can see your
Okay.
name, but if you could state your street and your city.
My name's Steve Lobkovich, a longtime resident of Tulane Street in Dearborn Heights, Michigan.
Thank you.
First, I want to welcome the new council persons to the council and thank our outgoing council for their service. I'd like to at this time address the proposals that were brought at the end of the meeting tonight. First thing, by Robert's Rules of Orders, I believe that motion to have that was out of order in the first place. But since you discussed it for 6 minutes, 6 minutes plus, I would like to say I'm an acting commissioner on the Act 78 Civil Service Commission for the city of Dearborn Heights. Been there for several years now. Several months ago, your council brought us to a study session, asked us about Act 78, what we did, and how we went about our business as far as hiring, discipline, firing, and promoting people within the police and fire departments. There was a very lengthy discussion of which there was absolutely not a report given to our commission as to whether you agreed with our performance, you disagreed with it, or anything else. And in saying that, tonight you were outgoing Councilman Abdelhak was allowed to speak for 6 minutes about how he would like to eliminate Act 78 in a motion that was made that couldn't even be brought to the agenda in time to get it on the agenda to speak about properly, and then discussed getting rid of the very process that we use to hire the exact professionals that Chief Myers was just talking about. My opinion, if this council should consider a motion such as that, items such as that in Act 345, which are negotiated items within 3 contracts, the police supervisors, police officers, and the firefighters contracts within this city, to take that to resolution for the citizens to vote on to eliminate the very process of which you all sit there and give accolades to the professionalism to which you witness. I think that's ridiculous, and I think it should be put to bed. That's all I have. Happy holidays to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate your comments. Madam Clerk, who do we have next?
I guess I got to unmute myself. We have Hassan Saab. I'm going to ask him to unmute. There you go.
Mr.
If you could
Saab,
state your name, obviously we can see your name, your street, and the city.
Hassan Saab, John Daly, Dearborn Heights.
Thank you.
Good evening, first of all. Happy holidays to everybody, and hopefully a better year for everyone. I have a few questions for the Commissioner for Act 78 and Chief Myers himself. You know, one thing is I'm pro-police. I'm not against it, but I'm against the way this police department operates. The chief wants to call them out for professional. They put their lives at risk every day. 100% agree with them. But the department and public, they're absolutely the most disrespectful people that you can consider in the city of Dearborn Heights. And if anybody wants to challenge me to those, not only do I have video, I also have audio of them, the way they speak to the public, how do they degrade people in public. And an incident just happened in front of my house a few weeks ago with one officer. But that's the least of what I'm talking about. Second thing is about Act 78, the way the hiring process is and the promoting process. It's completely unfair in Dearborn Heights. We're very well aware of that. You guys say Act 78 is the way you hire professionals and report professionals on what performance. I want to see where the tests come from. I want to see who's hired, who's protected, and who's not. None of that comes out. When you FOIA something through the police department, 90% of it gets denied. If any of the council people sitting on this council would like to reach out to me and send them what I have and what my attorneys have, I'll gladly show them. But until then, you can make comments about how everybody's professional. The fire department, nobody hears nothing about them because they're good to citizens. But when you try to interact with an officer in public, nobody's above the law. Nobody's better than anybody. You get treated the same way you treat others. When you disrespect a citizen, I expect a citizen to disrespect the same person. And like I said, if anybody wants to reach out to me, I'll gladly send them videos and audio. And this is why I'm requesting to the city council one day, when you guys keep pushing onto these body cameras. As residents, the amount of taxes I pay and other residents pay, I believe body cameras are essential in this city. Not to show what's going on, to show how unprofessional some of these officers are in this city. And this starts with its leadership. That's how these officers get on the road like that. It starts up at the chain of command down. I'm not trying to bust anybody or say anybody that anybody's bad here or not at city council. I'm not. What I'm saying is this police department, the way it's ran, that's not right. The residents deserve better. A lot of residents in the city aren't educated. The way officers come at people by intimidation, nobody should be intimidated in the city. Nobody. That goes from to any council person, the mayor, any resident, grandmas, sisters, brothers, anybody in the city. Nobody should feel intimidated when they see an officer stops them or anything. These officers have absolutely no respect to the public. And if Chief Meyer wants to drop in on this, feel free to. Because everything I'm saying, I have proof to back it up. But I'm staying silent on it. Thank you, guys. Hope you guys all have a happy new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Hassan. Next resident, public comment. Madam
Would
Clerk.
it be Vince Dambrowski?
Come on in, Vince.
Good evening, Council Chair, Mr. Mayor, and members of the council. Vince Trepkowski, Columbia Street, Dearborn Heights, Michigan, Wayne County. I've got like 5 things I want to bring up, but I think I'm going to cut a few of them short here. One thing I would really like to know about is the mayor had brought up at several meetings concerns about the G5 communications. And since Dearborn Heights is in the direct flight path of Metro Airport, I'm concerned with the communications that the airplanes are going to have during approach, because there's been a lot of reports lately regarding the aircraft having issues with G5 communications and their altitude. So I was wondering if we could get an update from the mayor regarding the G5 system that's supposed to go in around here. And also I have, like I said, four other things, but let's just see how much time we burn up here.
Vince, just to interrupt you, Madam Clerk, can you stop the clock for, or I'm sorry, the time for a sec? When somebody from the city is speaking to you, that will not count against your time, just FYI.
Okay.
Okay, and being that you're a longtime active member at City Council, I'll give you a little bit more time. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council Chair. Yeah, we've had several meetings with the different mayors, the different conferences, with the Western Wayne community, and that hasn't been brought up yet, but I would look into that and get back with you, Vince.
Okay, that sounds good. Because that is a concern. Like I said, you can sit in my front room window on a Sunday night and you can see 4 lines of planes coming in. It's ridiculous at times, especially during the summer. One other thing real quick, I'll just, Mr. Dibb, if you can get a hold of Wayne County and take one of their road commissioners down the Joy Road, that job they did is already rippled on Joy Road between Beach Daily and Telegraph. It's a mess. It looks like 6-year-olds did it. The other thing I want to get an idea on is, make this real quick. Have we heard anything from the golf course on, is it making money? What type of money is it? Mr. Winslow had brought this up in the past, and I don't think we've heard anything on that. Anybody?
Mayor, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Council Chair. Yeah, so we did ask the operator of the golf course to provide us some financials, and currently we have discussion with them. We have our attorneys also engaged with their attorney, so there's some issues that currently we have, so I can't discuss it right now. But we're waiting for their attorney to provide us the right information about the financials.
Okay, sounds good. Also, earlier we approved, or the council approved, a license for a business on Warren Avenue. And the statement was that there's 3 businesses there operating under 1 license. Is that correct?
No, absolutely not. I mentioned the dates that they were all there. They all have their own license.
Okay.
For whatever they're doing business as. The car wash has 1, the Quick Lube has 1, and then MHS has 1.
Okay. Thank you. My misunderstanding.
No
Also, thanks to Mr. Zohair Abdul Haq, Denise Maxwell, for your service through the city here. We appreciate that. And to the council as a whole, right now, the new members coming in and the existing members, we've got to get back to study sessions. This delayed argument over what's going on, you can't vote on something, you got to discuss it. We're going on these 4 or 5 hour meetings, which is ridiculous. I know in the past, for the last couple of years, study sessions were dropped. You got to get back to these things. This is where you guys make your decisions as a whole, and then come forth with your final questions at your final council meeting. Okay, you got plenty of time to get with these directors to have a study session or closed meeting sessions. It's time to do your closed meetings during those study sessions, I feel. Yeah, from what I've experienced in the past. And the other thing, it's going to be time to vote for a council chair coming up. Take this time while you're off here to really think about who you want as a council chair. My personal opinion is I would like to see Mr. Muscat in the position, just for the fact that he's been going to meetings for over 17 years. And he's retired, and I think he'll be able to have the time to do the job without somebody on a full-time job trying to fit it in. Just my perspective. So take that into consideration, if you would. So when we come to our new year first meeting, we could get the ball rolling in the right direction. I hope everybody had a great holiday. Have a great and happy new year coming. And my character there reflects how I felt from the past year. So hopefully we can bury that and get moving forward. Thank you for your time. Everybody have a great holiday and have a good night.
Thank you, Vince. Next resident, Madam Clerk.
That's all I see unless there's any hands hiding. I don't see anyone else.
All
No
right,
hands
I'm
up.
looking through the list. I don't see anybody. All right, I'm gonna give one last chance for any residents in case any resident wants to speak. Going once, going twice. All right, any council members want to make the next motion?
I make the motion to adjourn, Council Chair.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Moby Dune, second.
Chair.
Okay, Councilman Tomlinson, go ahead.
You know, I just wanted to make one statement. And some of you may know recently, I was sworn in with my family and the mayor and the firefighters union president and Councilman Hassan Ahmed, and like I say, my whole family, while we were doing Salvation Army bell ringing. And I just want to let everyone know they're in a lot of spots, they're still going to be doing ringing to the end of the year. And from now on to the end of the year, they're going to be, there's a corporation or an entity matching the donations 1-to-1. So for every $1 is donated, it's $2 to the Salvation Army. So everyone, if you go out there and see that kettle, you put 50 cents in, that's $1. So do a little bit, every little bit helps, and keep up the good work. And thanks everyone for coming to my swearing in, and thanks everyone for ringing the bell. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Tom Wenzel. All right, move to adjourn by Councilman Moby Dune, seconded by, if I'm not mistaken, Councilman Zohair Block, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, move to adjourn.
Thank you,
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you around.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Did we motion?
Yeah. You need a vote.
You need a vote.
Okay,
Thank
let's go
you.
back. Okay, so council members, all in favor of motion to adjourn, please state aye. Aye. We need a quorum, don't we? Do we have enough? 1, 2.
Yes, we
Good
do.
night.
Yes, we do. Good night.
Enough?
Happy New
We got enough?
Year.
All right, thank you.
Happy New Year.
Good
Happy
night.
New Year, everyone.